I'm out running again. It snowed last night. I've just run down into the valley, so there's not so much snow down here, but there's certainly a fair bit up on the tops where I've just come from. And I thought I'd share a few top tips for running in the snow. So basically, you want to get from the start to finish in one piece. That's the main thing. You don't want to slip over, you don't want to get too cold, you don't want to hurt yourself. So before I headed out, I did what a lot of people probably do. You Google stuff. So I Googled running in the snow, which gave me some really good tips. And I'll share with some of them, which I read, which I've implemented on my snowy run this morning, and also a few of my own, which I've come up with. So the first thing, trail shoes. They've obviously got a bit more grip, so when you run in the snow you don't want to slip over. So trail shoes, I'm wearing my Speedgoat 2s, the Hoka One Ones. They got loads of grip on them, so they've obviously helped me not slip over. The other thing is snow. So when you're running on snow, the best thing is to run on the fresh snow. Don't run on the compacted snow where cars have been over it or other people's footprints, because they basically compacted the snow down and it's ice. So there's lots of high potential for slipping over if you're going to run on the compacted snow. So pick a nice, fresh, fluffy bit of snow route and head out on that one. A lot more chance of you staying on your feet. Shorten your stride length. If you're doing really big long strides, if you do slip or your foot goes from underneath you, you're far more likely to come a cropper and fall on your backside. Whereas you're doing lots of little paces, your centre of gravity is a lot better, so if you do slip you're probably going to be able to control it and not end up in a mess on the floor. And clothing, right, today obviously it's cold, it's snowing, but as I normally heat up really quickly, and too many layers is a pain in the neck, but today I knew it was going to be pretty chilly, so I've worn my calf compression sleeves, shorts, and I've always been told, and I've always followed this rule, lots of thin layers are better than one thick layer. So that's kind of what I've done today. So I've got a t-shirt, a long sleeve base layer, and I've got a waterproof jacket on. I wouldn't normally wear a waterproof jacket, but as it's still snowing, kind of sleeting now, the water tends to hit it and bounce off, so you don't end up getting really drenched, and it keeps the wind out as well. It's a bit blustery. Gloves, always wear gloves on a cold day. My hands get really cold, and the last thing you want to do is be uncomfortable when you're out on your run and not enjoy it. After all, it's snowing, it's like a winter wonderland. It's great getting out in these conditions. Beautiful scenery, especially where I am at the moment, up in Derbyshire. It's a bit foggy up on the top today, but it's still a beautiful place to run. So you don't want to be uncomfortable when you run. And woolly hat. I've follically challenged, so I've got a bit of a baldy head, so always try to wear headgear to keep the heat in. And I've got a buff on as well, just an extra bit of comfiness to keep the wind out around my neck. So those are my top tips for running in the snow, and the main thing is to enjoy it, to get round in one piece. And another one, really important one, you should take pace out of your vocabulary. I can't say that, that's because my lips have gone all numb because of the cold. When you're coming out on a snowy run, icy run, just chuck the pace out the window. It doesn't matter how quickly or slowly you get, well, don't go too quickly, that's the whole point. You want to get around in one piece, and it's quite brain sapping and quite tiring running in the snow, because you're constantly looking where you're placing your feet so you're not going to slip. You're shortening your stride length, so you should become a bit more of an economical runner, but if it's a little bit different from what you're used to doing, it takes a little bit for your body to adapt to it, so it'll probably generally be a hard run without you having to go too super fast and really push yourself. And as I say, the main thing is safety and getting back home in one piece and having enjoyed your run. So before I freeze to death, I should get on with the rest of my run. I've done a bit along the road, which is another tip. God, I keep remembering all these tips. When you're running on the road, on the pavement, if you're down like a country road where there's not much traffic, run actually on the road, not on the pavement, if there's no cars, because the roads will be gritted and therefore not as slippy, whereas the pavements won't have been gritted, so you're more likely to trip and stumble and slip on the pavements. So I tend to try and run close to the curb on the roads when it's been snowing, it was icy, because they've been gritted, they're going to be nice and non-slippy for us runners. Right, definitely time to get running. Off I go.